yesterday. Pittsburgh forced 5 turnovers in the win, their most takeaways in a game since 2022. Aaron Rodgers threw for 2 passing touchdowns, eclipsing Brett Favre for the 4th most passing touchdowns in NFL history. Plus, he threw a second go-ahead passing touchdown in the 4th quarter this season. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Does the success of the Steelers hinge on Aaron Rodgers or on their defense?
It hinges on everything. The Steelers don't look good. I'm not impressed with them at all. I think it's a miracle that they're 2-1 on the season thus far. They're 30th in total offense. They have no running game to speak of, ranking 31st, averaging 2.8 yards per carry this season. That's on offense. And on defense, albeit because of injuries to some degree, they're 28th in total defense and 27 against the run. So you have a coach in Mike Tomlin, who all of us love and revere, that has been known because of the day he was introduced as the Steelers' new head coach, 18 years ago. He said, the bottom line is this: run the football, stop the run. Run the football, stop the run. And the standard is the standard. Well, the standard hasn't been met because they haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and they can't run the football, and they can't stop the run. And so why would I be excited about what I'm seeing from them? I'm very, very worried right now. They got to get their act together. They were lucky to beat the New England Patriots yesterday. They were up 14-0. I watched the game from start to finish, and to me, there were so many. If New England had protected the football more, they would have won this game. I'm not excited about what I'm seeing from the Pittsburgh Steelers, to say the least. I'm just not.
Which one is it for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It's definitely Aaron Rodgers playing the part. Because let's play a game of what if, all right? What if Aaron Rodgers does play good and the Pittsburgh Steelers play bad? You still have a chance. All right, what if Aaron Rodgers plays bad and the Pittsburgh Steelers play good? You have no chance. All right, you see what I did right there? Like, that right there gives you all the information that you need to know. Aaron Rodgers is playing the game as much as he can do as far as affecting it, and I've said it ad nauseum. He does not have amenities. He does not have a running game that really can give him the opportunity to allow him to shine when he needs to the most. When you see guys like, DK Metcalf making these type of plays, that's impressive, all right? But when it comes down to real good teams, is that going to be enough? I don't think so, but it still starts and finishes with Aaron Rodgers playing the type of football that he's playing right now.
See, I'm going to go to the defensive side of the football.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember what the objective is. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't make all these moves. How in the world do you expect to contend for a Super Bowl with your defense playing as badly as they're playing right now? This is not the Steelers' way. One thing we know about Aaron Rodgers, okay, we know he's all-time great. One thing he's going to do, Aaron Rodgers has throughout his career has always protected the football. So he's going to give you a chance in that aspect alone. But with your defense playing the way that they're playing right now, they don't have a snowball chance in hell of being a contender, okay, in the AFC. I can tell you that right now. All of these big name, high-priced people on their defense, and you're sitting basically in the cellar of total defense. That's a bad sign. Here's what I worry about the Pittsburgh Steelers: their age. They got big names, but they're old. And when you're old, and Cam,
second oldest team in the league.
Football's a young man's game. When you old, you tend to fall off. You fall off a cliff real fast. So I worry about that with the Pittsburgh Steelers, particularly on defense.
I'm going to tell you what I'm worried about, too. Cam, you could appreciate this because you're a physical specimen. You know who else is? So is DK Metcalf. Where the hell is he at? I know it was TD. I saw TD yesterday. I got that. But 3 receptions, 3 receptions for like 32 yards, something. I need more. I need more from DK Metcalf. I'm looking at it right now. In these 3 games, he's got 10 receptions for 135 yards. Do you notice that there's always some big play on a little screen to him? But finding him downfield, that's been relatively absent. I'm very concerned about that. I'm wondering, did the Steelers make a mistake by letting George Pickens go and letting him head to Dallas instead of having him on the opposite side of the field so you don't have enough defenders keying on DK Metcalf so he could get loose? I don't know the answer to this question right now, but I know that I expected to see more activity, more production from DK Metcalf than I have seen.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that DK Metcalf needs to tighten up and show up. But this is the thing. Is he one-dimensional? Is he a one-dimensional receiver where you just put him on the outside and just allow him to just beat the cornerback up? Well, the game has changed, right? Well, we're used to a guy like Aaron Rodgers having guys like Devontae Adams, right, that you can put him anywhere on the field outside of the backfield, right? And he can really be effective. Now, can DK do that? And that's where you have to really dig in your receiver bag and say, hey, bro, like now I have to change, the style of play, still staying physical, might I add, but change the style of play where I need to understand the nuances of the position. Does DK have that in his bag to shift? Now, does he have all the skill set of the physicality, the look? Yes. But when you start saying the statistics that you're seeing from a guy like DK, I mean, he's a red zone threat. I mean, he's a Mike Evans reincarnated kind of guy that can be, and we seen that yesterday with the TD. But, man, bro, like you only got that, and we're approaching the fourth game?
Well,
what are we doing?
Listen. Jaylen Warren can catch passes out of the backfield. We know that. We've seen that, okay? He already has about 111 receptions for 142 yards in the season thus far, okay? If you look at DK Metcalf, what we got to look at is the Steelers personnel as well. Calvin Austin III might not be the answer. You got the answers at the tight end spot in Freiermuth and Smith. So what you need is an additional receiver, and maybe having that additional receiver who's a bona fide threat opposite side of DK Metcalf will take some of the pressure off of folks loading the box and limiting the Steelers to under 3 yards per rush. Maybe that'll open up the running game a little bit more. I don't know. But you got to do something because based on what we're seeing first of all, I don't think their defense looks that great, even though they came up with big plays yesterday, big turnovers when it really, really counted, and they sacked Drake May 5 times, so give credit where credit is due. But I still need to see more from the defense, to be quite honest with you. But they got injuries to Porter and others to explain away some of their doldrums. Offensively, this is supposed to be who you are, and who you are has not been impressive at all offensively outside of the opening day game against the New York Jets. And so that's how I'm looking at it. I think they may need more help at the wide receiver spot, guys. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it was ugly, but it was the Steelers' first win at the Patriots since 2008, so it's been a long time since they won in Foxborough. Let's make some money moves because ESPN Bet is here to get you paid. We've got your Cover 3 parlay with picks all from tonight's Monday Night Football game. So, Damien, I'll start with you. You're going with Zay Flowers to score a touchdown. Why?
Because I know the Lions are going to commit a lot to try to stop King, Henry, and company in the run game. The Lions play a lot of man-to-man. When you commit that way, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable on the outside. So I think Zay Flowers will have opportunities for some explosive plays in the passing game.
Stephen A., you're going Lamar Jackson to finish with at least 45 rushing yards. Why?
This is the greatest runner from the quarterback position in NFL history in the eyes of a lot of people. That's number one. Number two, because of that man coverage you just alluded to, they might have somebody to spy on him to keep him contained, but all that means that it's going to free up receivers. I think they'll go away from that once they get burned, and that's going to leave the door open for Lamar Jackson to run for more yardage, and I think he's going to do it.
All right, finally, Damien, you also have Sam Laporta finishing with 50 or more receiving yards. Explain that pick to me.
Yeah, because listen, if we're going to go off of what they did in week 2 in their win against Chicago, the best thing the Lions did offensively was that play-action pass. Sam Laporta is a guy that's really good working in the middle of the field, and I expect them to do that again tonight.
All right, so to recap, we're going with Zay Flowers, a touchdown there, Lamar to have at least 45 rushing yards, and Sam Laporta to have at least 50 receiving yards. If you want to ride with us, you make it a parlay, you go to ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Just open the app and look for the First Take Cover 3 parlay on the home page. All right, Justin Herbert and Daniel Jones have led their teams to 3-0 records this season. Which start has been more impressive? And the Eagles secured a huge win yesterday, continuing to cement their standing in the conference. Can anyone beat them in the NFC? That answer coming up next.
Welcome back to Steelers Nation Wire, and Steeler Nation, it is time to dig into one of the most intriguing and important storylines that is developing behind the scenes in Pittsburgh. While all the focus has been on Aaron Rodgers and how much gas the 41-year-old legend has left in the tank, there is a rookie quietly waiting in the wings, and this week we got a major update about his status. I'm talking about Will Howard, the sixth-round pick who led Ohio State to a national championship before joining the Black and Gold. He's been stashed on injured reserve with that hand injury, but according to team insider Jerry Dulac on KDKA's Steelers Kickoff, Howard is expected to return after Week 3, and the organization is preparing to get him reps in October. That doesn't mean first team or second team snaps right away, but it does mean scout team action, a chance to start working his way back into rhythm, and the beginning of what could be his long audition to become the quarterback of the future in Pittsburgh. This is massive, because when you look at where the Steelers are right now, there's no denying the quarterback room is a puzzle with pieces scattered all over the table. Aaron Rodgers has shown flashes of brilliance, but he's also admitted when he struggled. Against the Patriots, he finished with just 139 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and a costly interception. The offense has been inconsistent, the line hasn't always kept him clean, and it's fair to question whether he can withstand 17 games of punishment at this stage of his career. Mason Rudolph has held a clipboard and hasn't been asked to do much yet, but he's under contract for 2026. Then there's Skylar Thompson, also on IR, but Dulac made it clear, when the Steelers are forced to choose, it won't be Howard who gets pushed aside. He's a rookie on a 4-year deal, a player with upside, and cutting him would make no sense. The writing is on the wall for Thompson. This organization is going to invest in Howard. Think about the timing here. Howard missed the entire preseason, which was a huge setback. Those August reps are gold for a rookie, and he didn't get them. But starting in October, he'll begin building his foundation, even if it's only scout team snaps. That might sound small, but for a young quarterback, it's everything. It's about calling plays in the huddle, reading defenses on the fly, and developing trust with teammates, even in practice. That's where you sharpen your edge. That's where you get noticed by the coaches, and that's where you start writing your case for the future. And let's be honest, 2026 is right around the corner, and the NFL draft is coming to Pittsburgh. The expectation is that this franchise could go quarterback again next year, but Howard has a window, however small, to change that narrative. If you can show growth, maturity, and flashes of that championship pedigree, he could earn himself the chance to compete for the job in 2026. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Everyone assumes this is Rodgers' farewell season, but what if it isn't? What if Rodgers, depending on how this campaign unfolds, decides to run it back for one more year in Pittsburgh? That would completely shift the calculus. You'd have Rodgers potentially holding the job in 2026, Rudolph under contract as a backup, and Howard waiting in the wings. Do the Steelers still draft the quarterback high in the draft, or do they ride with what they have, hoping Howard develops into something more? These are the questions that only time will answer. But one thing is certain, Will Howard is about to get his first chance to prove that he belongs. Let's not forget what made Howard such an intriguing pick in the first place. At Ohio State, he was calm under pressure, capable of managing big games, and showed the leadership you want in your quarterback. He might not have been a first-round selection, but he brings that prove-them-wrong mentality that has fueled countless success stories in Steelers history. Players like Antonio Brown, James Harrison, and even Ben Roethlisberger early in his career carried that chip on their shoulder. He fits that mold, and Pittsburgh fans know better than anyone that this city embraces the underdog story. Yes, the offense right now has more questions than answers. The run game is sputtering, the line is still inconsistent, Rodgers has been candid about his own struggles, but the long-term picture just got a little clearer. Will Howard is not going anywhere. He's about to step back into practice, he's about to start learning in live speed, and he's about to show the coaching staff what kind of competitor he is. Even if he doesn't see the field this season, every snap he takes in practice, every rep on scout team is building toward the future. Steeler Nation, here's the reality. The future of this quarterback position is wide open. Rodgers could play another year, or he could retire. Rudolph is steady, but not spectacular. Skylar Thompson is likely on his way out, and Howard, he is the wild card. If he develops, if he proves he can carry over that championship pedigree, then the Steelers may have already found their quarterback of tomorrow without having to spend a first-round pick in 2026. That's why his return matters, and that's why all of us should be watching closely. So I want to hear from you, Steeler Nation. Do you believe Will Howard has what it takes to develop into the next starting quarterback for Pittsburgh? Should the Steelers still target a quarterback in the 2026 draft, even with Howard in the building? Or do you think Rodgers might surprise us all and play one more year in black and gold? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you believe this team is heading in the right direction, and subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire so you don't miss any updates, reactions, and analysis as this story unfolds. The win against the Patriots showed us this team has heart, and the return of Will Howard shows us there is hope for the future. The present is gritty, the future is uncertain, but one thing is sure. This franchise is building something, and Steeler Nation will be there every step of the way.